into algebra dealing with variables and mathematical models. We're not going to do a lot on the mathematical models part, but we're going to be working with evaluating expressions and writing expressions based on the English words. We're going to be simplifying expressions when we can, and determining whether a certain solution is a valid one for a given expression or equation. So, a variable, we often use the letter x, that's the most common one, can represent any set of numbers. So, or a variety of numbers. And most of the time we don't know what that is. Sometimes if we're given an equation, meaning we have an equal sign, we can figure out what x equals. If we don't have an equal sign, the only thing we can do is simplify the expression. So we're not getting into solving today. So the first one, when we have an equal sign, that's solving. Simplifying, we're not solving, we're just getting it down to as few terms as we can. We will have some equations today, and we're going to be given a value for x, and we're going to be checking to see if that works or not. That's going to happen later in the lesson. So the first thing we're going to start with is what these different things actually mean. If we have x plus 6, that means we have some number added to 6. This is referred to as the sum of x and 6. If we have x minus 6, that is the difference. So when we're subtracting, we refer to that as the difference. Six x, that is 6 times x, or the product of 6 and x. So I'm going to write this as well as 6 times x. So multiplying. Put that one other way. So that's 3 different ways of saying the same thing. If I have x over 6, anytime you see a fraction, that's the top divided by the bottom. So this is the quotient of x and 6. That means we are dividing x by 6. Moving this down a little, some more not complicated, but some further expressions. 3x plus 5 is the product of 3 and x increased by 5. If I have the square root of x plus 7, that is 7 more than the square root of x. And we're going to deal with square roots later on. So we're going to do a little bit of practice with that, translating the algebraic expressions. So just a couple more examples. We're not going to do a whole lot. If I have, just a second. So for more than a number, more would indicate that I am adding. So I have 4 plus, and whenever it's a number, I don't know that number, so I can use X. I can actually use any letter I want. I could use B or N or Y or anything like that. Most commonly used is X. Next, 9 subtracted from a number. The order here is tricky because if I had 9 minus X, that would be X subtracted from 9. But since it's 9 subtracted from a number, it needs to be X minus 9. Something that we're going to talk more thoroughly about later is that when you're adding, you can add in any direction you want, but when you're subtracting, you have to be in a particular order. So that's important to remember. Number 35, and these are from your book, by the way, 6 more than the quotient of a number and 30. So 6 more would indicate that I am adding 6. The quotient means that I am dividing a number and 30. So X over 30. And in this class, rather than write X divided by 30, we're going to write it as X over 30. That's the way that I prefer to see it, and it's easier to deal with in later problems, but it's the same thing as X divided by 30. So on your own, I want you to complete number 33, 36, and 37. You can do this on your own time, and then we will go to, that's the end of this video. We'll go to the next video to deal with evaluating expressions and checking for solutions. So make sure you continue on with the second part of section 1.1.